Adequate notice of this meeting was provided and published in the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on January 7, 2022. Copies of the agenda were provided to the newspaper, posted on public bulletin boards on the township website.
Thank you. I'd like to take a moment now to pledge allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Is there a Derrick here? Yeah, we like Derrick. Could you please come up, and Mr. Mayor, please? Derrick, you can bring your family if they want. Thank you.
All right, welcome everybody. It's a terrific night here in Brick Township. Derrick Ambrosino is being sworn in tonight as our newest council member. Derrick is a lifelong resident of Brick Township. He was raised by his parents, who are here with us tonight. He's a Brick Township High School graduate. He's married to Kat and has his 3 kids, who are all here with us tonight as well, Harper and Portia and Leo. And more than anything, Derrick wants to make sure that Brick remains an awesome place for his kids to grow up in, just like it was awesome when he grew up. And he has ideas of, fiscal responsibility and to support the police, improve the parks, improve all of our township events, and expand them and just make them that much better. And it's just really keeping Brick the great town it is. So I'm proud to be able to swear in Derrick here tonight. And who would you like to hold the Bible? I'll move this over.
That wasn't nice. We all did. What did you say? I was getting behind them. There's no good one.
She zoomed in. Let's pretend she zoomed in.
Yeah. Yeah, we did that the first time.
Thank you.
Is the chair right?
Chair looks good.
All right, good. Just checking.
Can't do nothing to it, did you?
Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Here.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Here.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Here.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Here.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Here.
Vice President Crate.
Here.
President Menachino.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you accept and file the reports, please?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the minutes from October 11th meeting?
Motion. Second.
Thank you. That brings us to our consent agenda.
I'm going to take the roll on the minutes if you don't
Oh,
mind.
sorry.
Councilman Albanese.
Here.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Abstain.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I got ahead of myself. This brings us to our consent agenda.
All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. If discussion is desired on any item, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Thank you. Resolution 4-1.
Recognize Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution recognizes the month of October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The display of pink ribbons and pink clothing, as you can see on all members of council, as well as our clerks, as well as our mayor and council and Ms. Bergen, all to raise public awareness and support those that are courageously fighting breast cancer and honor the lives of those lost to this horrible disease. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 4-2.
Authorize acceptance best practices inventory.
Thank you. Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the acceptance of the township's best practice inventory as required annually by the state.
Thank you. Resolution 4-3.
Authorize grant cancellation 2018 COPS SVPP.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the cancellation of a 2018 COPS School Violence Prevention Program grant in the amount of $156,427. This grant was awarded to the township as a pass-through to the Board of Education. They have closed the grant, and as a result, we are canceling the grant reserve balance. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 4-4.
Authorize shared service agreement grant driving while intoxicated enforcement program fiscal year 2022-23.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the execution of a shared services agreement with the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office for a driving while intoxicated enforcement program, which is aimed at identifying and removing intoxicated drivers from the roadway. As part of this agreement, Brick Township agrees to provide manpower when needed for enforcement. The township receives a flat hourly rate reimbursement for the police officers assigned to this enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 4-5.
Authorize shared services agreement grant move over law enforcement program fiscal year 2022-23.
Thank you. Councilman Albanese.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the execution of shared service agreement with the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office for the Move Over Law Enforcement Initiative. The law requires motor vehicle operators to reduce their speed and change lanes when approaching authorized vehicles, displaying emergency lights. Such vehicles include police, fire, medical service vehicles, also highway maintenance, tow trucks, official motorists, aid vehicles displaying amber emergency lights. Where as possible, drivers are required to move over to create an empty lane next to the emergency vehicle. When safely changing lanes is not possible, drivers must slow down below the posted speed limit prior to passing emergency vehicles. As part of the agreement, Brick Township agrees to provide manpower when needed for enforcement. The township receives a flat hourly rate reimbursement for the police officers assigned to the enforcement.
Thank you. Resolution 4-6.
Authorize shared service agreement grant drug recognition expert call-out program fiscal year 2022-23.
Thank you. Councilwoman Zapsik.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the execution of a shared services agreement with the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office for drug recognition call-out program, which is aimed at detecting and arresting impaired drivers throughout Ocean County. As part of this agreement, Brick Township agrees to provide manpower when needed for the enforcement. The township receives a flat hourly rate reimbursement for the police officers assigned to this enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 47.
Authorized contract professional medical services, WorkNet Occupational Medicine.
This resolution authorizes a contract for professional medical services with Network Occupational Medicine, Toms River, at an approved schedule of prices. Medical services include in the contract are provided for providing pre-employment physicals, fit-for-duty examinations, and drug and alcohol testings for new and existing employees. Notices were provided to 16 prospective bidders. 8 bidders' packages were picked up. Two proposals were received, one of which was deemed ineligible due to an error in the submission. Resolution 4.8.
Authorized contract Fletcher Street Drainage Extension.
Council Vice President Crate.
This resolution authorizes a contract in the amount of $90,525.15 with Fernandez Construction, Monroe, for the Fletcher Street Drainage Extension Project. The project generally consists of pipe and inlet installation, replacement of concrete curbing, and installation of ADA-compliant sidewalk and pavement restoration. Bid notices were provided to 77 prospective bidders from the bidders list and 13 submitted bid packages. 7 bids were submitted with prices ranging from $54,595.15 to $109,101.10 for the base bid. The township engineer recommends the award of contract to Fernandez Construction for the base bid of the drainage work and the alternate for pavement restoration. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 4.9.
Authorized contract Sickler Estates Phase 2 roadway resurfacing.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the award of contract in the amount of $235,920.33 to MECO Incorporated out of Clarksburg, New Jersey, and this is for the Sickler Estates roadway resurfacing project. The major work to be completed under the scope of this contract consists of roadway milling and resurfacing of the following streets. And these are streets that we hear about a lot in emails about the condition. So Sweeney Avenue, Marlborough Avenue, Conti Avenue, Jewell Avenue, and Custer Lane. The bid notices were provided to 77 prospective bidders from our bidders list. Out of those 77, 8 bids were received, and the range was the low bid of $235,920.33, which we're asking the council to award tonight. And then the high went all the way up. There's 6 in between, 7. I'm sorry, 6. Yeah, 6 in between, and then the highest was $336,490. So we're hoping for MECO Incorporated with the lowest bidder. Thanks.
Thank you. Resolution 4.10.
Authorized closeout change order number 2, Oregon Avenue Drainage Improvements.
Thank you. Councilman Albanese.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes change order number 2 and closeout of the contract with R. Malowski Excavating for Oregon Ave drainage improvements. The change order is a decrease in the amount of $3,711 as a result of final as-built quantities.
Thank you. Resolution 4.11.
Authorized contract addition to access control system.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the award of contract for additions to the township's access control system in the amount of $125,000 to Electric Tech Folsom. The contract will primarily be used for the addition of doors into our existing fob access system. This will include the installation and configuration of approximately 15 to 20 doors with the new construction of the police department building behind Town Hall and 5 to 10 doors as part of the renovation at 500 Aurora Place for the new senior center. Bid notices were provided to 15 prospective bidders from our bidders list and 11 picked up bid packages. 2 bids were received, with Electric Tech being the lowest responsible bidder.
Thank you. Resolution 4.12.
Authorized purchase and delivery through Stafford Township Cooperative Pricing System gasoline fuel.
Thank you. Councilman Ambrosino.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the purchase and delivery of regular grade gasoline fuel to Creative Management, Inc. of Matawan at a fixed market rate in accordance with the Stafford Township Creative Cooperative Pricing System contract. This is a 2-year contract. Prices are on an escalation basis during that contract period when prices may be increased or decreased in accordance with market fluctuations.
Thank you. Resolution 4.13, please.
Authorize shared service agreement with BTMUA paving portion of Laurel Avenue.
Mr. Mayor, please.
Thank you. This resolution talks about a combination of a great policy we have and then great ideas. So the policy that we started about 6 or 7, probably 7 years ago now, was if a utility digs up our roads here in town, they're responsible for the side-to-side repaving. In the past, the utility was only responsible for fixing patching up the areas where they actually dug up, or maybe sometimes they had to do half of the road if it was a pipe. It was only on half of the road. Then you have half a road which is nice paved, and the other half is 30 years old. So with the help of the council, we passed a law back then, an ordinance to require, what you call curb to curb. Obviously, we don't have curbs everywhere in town. A lot of people hate curbs, so we call it curb to curb still. So with the BTMUA doing their water main replacements, there's a situation where, yes, those roads where the water main is being paved side to side, but then there's roads that are in that neighborhood that all of a sudden they're not getting paved at all because they're not getting impacted by this water main. So our great engineer Alyssa came up with the idea, let's get into a shared service, because we hear in that area where they're doing it, we always hear about Laurel Avenue having a lot of potholes and things like that. So her idea was, let's reach out to the MUA and see if they'd be interested in a shared service, and they were. So it works out great for both of us, both organizations, and this resolution authorizes the shared service agreement with the Brick Township MUA for road resurfacing in Cedarwood Park. The BTMUA currently has a contract in place with P&A Construction for water main replacement in this area. So that provides an opportunity for the township to utilize that contract to expand the scope to complete roadway resurfacing for a portion of Laurel Avenue that wouldn't have been impacted. The Laurel Avenue would have stopped at a certain point where the water main stopped, but now the whole thing's getting done so we don't have upset residents out there. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Resolution 414.
Authorize appointment of commissioner to the BTMUA.
This resolution authorizes the appointment of Michael Blandina to the Brick Township Municipal Utility Authority. Mr. Blandina will fill an unexpired term effective October 25, 2022, and expiring on January 31st, 2026. Resolution 415.
Authorize receipt of bids, demolition, structure, and place lien on block 1226, lot 534.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, please.
Thank you. The northern half of Brick, specifically anybody who lives off of Herbertsville Road, will be very, very excited about this resolution, as this resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for the demolition of the structures and to secure the property located at 430 Herbertsville Road, the old Herbertsville Deli. So that is an eyesore. This resolution is the result of an order issued by our Township Property Maintenance Board. That was a board that started 7 or 8 years ago in order to take care of these dilapidated properties. A hearing was held before the board on February 23rd of 2022 with no action taken at all by the property owners to comply with the board's orders of fixing that place up and making it something that's worthy of being here in Brick Township. And since they ignored us, as a result, the board is recommending demolition of this unsafe structure and a placement of a lien to recover all costs. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Resolution 416.
416A is an inspection fund release for Meridian Hospital Corp. on block 1170, lots 18 and 18.01, in the amount of $1,296.48. 16B is an inspection fund release for Donnie Powell for block 378.45, lot 1.01, in the amount of $368.48.
Thank you. Resolution 417.
17A is tax overpayment for the year 2022 of block 1151.05, lot 2, in the amount of $2,606.67. 17B is 100% DAV, widow of veteran, cancel and refund taxes at block 194.18, lot 9. 17C is 100% DAV, widow of veteran, cancel and refund taxes at block 324.05, lot 1.
Thank you. This ends our consent agenda. Can I get a motion in a second?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Open to public for questions on the resolutions only. Yes, Ms. Cole.
Nan Carl, 18 Greenbrier Boulevard. I don't understand your reluctance to use what we all use, the street address. And I'd like to have them for everyone that says block and lot. I don't tell my neighbor I'm going down to block such and such, lot such and such. I tell them an address, and we're entitled to that.
Thank you. Anybody else from public? Yes, Mr. Finelli.
Vic Finelli, couple of quick questions. I was going to ask if this is the same Michael Blandina from the school board, but since he's here, I don't have to ask the question anymore. I do have a question. Is this a salary position or just benefits or what? MUA. Okay?
The MUA decides that.
The MUA decides that. Oh, so the commissioner could be salaried or not salaried, or could get benefits or not benefits?
I don't know if it's per meeting, or I don't know if Mr. Ambrosino, is it per meeting or is it salary? I don't know the answer to that.
There is very small compensation that's paid for the commission of the MUA.
A small compensation like a meeting fee?
I think you'd certainly have to attend an MUA meeting and ask for that information, but it's a small compensation paid to it's a salary to the individuals on the MUA.
Okay. Let me just push back a little bit.
Sure.
You people are appointing somebody to the MUA, but you don't know whether it's a salary position or those people get benefits? Really? You don't know that? Everybody's heads down. I think I asked a tough question.
I don't know if it's per meeting or a salary. I do not. I know they get paid, yeah. I don't know if it's per meeting or salary. We have a member of the audience who can answer.
You get a payment for attending meetings. I'm not going to be taking insurance also. That is something that I'll waive and I have.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Finelli.
So he gets a meeting fee and no benefits. He's taking. Benefits is an option, but he's not taking.
We're not paying him for this
Yes.
meeting.
Say what?
We're not paying him for this meeting because he answered the question. We're not paying him.
Whether he answers questions or not, still
Yeah,
not
it
getting
doesn't
paid.
matter, yeah.
Okay. Second question. Just curious, this gas contract, is this for Public Works? You still get your gas for your police and whatnot across the street, right?
No, well, we do use their pumps, but what this is for our pumps at the DPW, which sometimes the police do use and our garbage fleet uses it.
So who uses one across the street?
The police generally, code enforcement, all of our fleet that goes here, but once in a while there's a problem with
Okay.
those pumps and they can't get
But
to them
that's
and
for
we all.
Public Works, so the trucks are not over there.
Right, correct.
Okay. Question 4, 5, and 6 gave a lot of information, but you didn't give all the information. Somebody described flat hourly rate. Everybody
So-
said they get a flat hourly rate. Here's my concern. We've been hiring police for a long time. We keep adding to police, right? And then one time we had one shared service agreement, which was for drunk driving. Now we're having 3 shared agreements for drunk driving, for the paperwork says reckless driving, but you defined all the emergency vehicles. And I guess now you have experts to go out and determine if somebody is under the influence of drugs. So they're getting compensated. What is that compensation? Is it equitable? Are we taking it on the chin? That's my first question. My second question is, what area does your people cover? Is it all Ocean County or all of the state or just Brick? And my third question is, do other towns do this also?
So in reverse order, yes, other towns do this. They generally keep us in Brick Township so that they're not worried about travel time, doesn't impact their duties. And it's it's an average, so it's not the starting salary, but it's not the highest salary. They take an average of police salaries, and that's what we get reimbursed.
Does that include something for the equipment that they're using, the vehicles?
It's just the flat hourly rate for the officer.
Now, you said that they do most of this in Brick, not Ocean County? Okay. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from public, please? Seeing none, close public, roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zapsik.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Yes.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Minikino.
Yes.
Thank you.
This brings us to our computer bill resolution.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Computer bill resolution in the amount of $10,098,668.68.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Open to public for questions on the bill resolutions only. Seeing none, close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zepsic.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Yes.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Abstain, Teamsters, and yes to the rest. This brings us to our manual bill resolution.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Manual bill resolution in the amount of $1,784,391.65.
Thank you. Can I get a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Seeing none, close council. Open to public on the bill resolutions only. Seeing none, close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Zepsic.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Yes.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Menachino.
Yes, and this brings us to our public comments.
Please note that each person addressing the council during any section of the meeting during which public comment is permitted shall limit his or her remarks to 5 minutes pursuant to Brick Township Administrative Code, Section 2-33B.
Thank you. Anyone from public? Yes, Mr. Stuka.
Good evening. Congratulations. John Sluka, 950 Sylvia Court. What started out as a short letter grew a little bit because of this meeting. Maybe because I need an explanation either from the council or from the lawyer. You took over the job today for a duration of some time. I don't know how long the time is, whether it's a year and a half or 4 years or whatever it happens to be. Obviously unelected. And the election's coming up. You're not in that, so therefore this job is obviously more than a year. My question really comes down to on that piece is, if somebody, I don't know if it's only the council, say it was the mayor, and being very popular when he was on the council, was more politician than he's has shown, the day after he gets elected, gets in there and says, okay, now I quit, and then a political party gets to pick the person for the next, how long? Is it the next election, the election after that, or for 3 years and 55 days? You know, whatever it happens to be. So I'm not sure. I'm hopefully, after I leave, the lawyer, when he gets to speak, he could talk and just explain that a little better, because it just seems a little strange that a political party gets to pick who's, well, I know there's choice of 3 people, but in reality, if I want somebody in, I pick 2 people nobody in the world would want. You know, so therefore, they get to pick who it is instead of the citizens getting the vote. Okay, the next one, I'm going to read my letter. Luckily, it was short because I would never fit everything in, right?
Take your time, Mr. Sluka.
Yeah, well, I talk fast, you know. Dear Mayor Ducey, October 19th, I guess it was. Council President Vince Menachino, all Brick councilmen, councilwomen, concerned citizens, and employees of Brick, and all the taxpayers. Although 14 feet noise pollution and safety walls are needed in and around Evergreen Woods condos, Greenbrier and Greenbrier Mills, Brick High, Lanes Mill School, Town Hall, Birchwood, and all of Brick Township in reality, this must be accentuated by a thick brush, shrubs, trees that were destroyed by the New Jersey Turnpike Authority Commissioners on or the Parkway, obviously. These precautionary items will help to protect the health and well-being of our Brick residents. The New Jersey Turnpike Authority Commissioners have incapacitated and killed prematurely some of our residents and workers. Every day, citizens fall to lung and heart ailments caused in part by the toxins flowing off the Garden State Parkway. The administration and council need to renew its efforts and, when possible, use legal means to force the New Jersey Turnpike Authority Commissioners to repair the damage caused by those commissioners. It seems that the NJTA commissioners are very uncaring and uncooperative, and with that in mind, only legal proceedings may force them to see and correct the evil of their ways. Over the last many years, we have brought before the council and mayor a myriad of reports, studies, and articles showing how large traffic areas are a danger to the residents, basically within a half mile of that traffic. People are getting lung cancer, COPD, and weakened hearts, along with asthma and autism in children because of the Garden State Parkway traffic. I suggest that anyone who cares go to the library and look up what causes these ailments, or at least goes on the internet and read some of the thousands of articles that are available. We need to save our children now. We need to save our seniors now. And truly, we need to save all our citizens. And in fact, save the lives, basically, of us all, and take action now. And the second thing, again, I wrote on the bottom of this while I was here for the same reason. We recognize Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's amazingly we recognize Breast Awareness Month, but where the traffic on the Garden State Parkway impacts diseases, including cancers, not just one particular cancer, the council, the mayor, and administration has accomplished very little, even though they're making an effort at times over the years, and it's like 11 years already, and every child in all of Brick is actually impacted, or pretty much everyone, unless you live so far away from the parkway it doesn't impact you. Thank you for your time. I yield back 35 seconds.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Cole.
Nan Carl, 18 Greenbrier Boulevard. I have a new mantra, and you're going to hear it all the time. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. It's possible. It is also the last day of my life. And let me tell you, as far as I'm concerned, if it is tonight or tomorrow morning, then I blame everybody that's in this government, administration, or council. Save one. Because you enrage me so by your lack of a focus on we the people. I don't know. I think that the calendar was changed for Columbus Day, and I think I saw something about Indigenous Peoples Day. Well, I did check with the Ocean County Library. They do, in Ocean County, have 2 more of these, but they circulate in all the branches. I took this out from the Brick branch. It starts with the 1600s. Talks about the Indians. Well, no, the Native Americans, because they weren't from India. They were from right here, and the first people. But I don't ever see anything about them or hear anything about them in this town, which I call God-awful Brick. I think our school kids should be reading this, but it has to be adapted, because you'll see that Eleanor Angert pieced together newspaper articles that were in columns, and it's very small print, but I think somebody should work with the children and let them find out and talk about the tourism here in Brick. Anybody know where the Gravelly Cemetery is? Do you know why it's called the Gravelly? Do you know where, well, there's some others. It also mentions where my children grew up, which wasn't here in Brick, or in New Jersey. Gravesend in Brooklyn. And there's a lot of historical things about Lady Deborah Moody in Gravesend. And all over Brooklyn. Also, I hope to hear when people that are in charge of this government, what the heck is happening on the streets and roadways of Brick. Last week, almost every night, there was a slew of police cars, and one of the times was when I was heading over to St. Dominic's and saw on Van Zyl, not far off 70, a big bunch of the red lights and the lights on police cars. That was like the third that night. The other people who were coming to the Bible study said they hit it all over in different places. What is going on? This town that I thought I would love so well has become a nightmare and will be. The my grave site, probably.
Thank you. Anybody else from public? Seeing none, close public. Mrs. Bergen.
Welcome, Councilman Ambrosino.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I just want to talk about the 10-year anniversary of Superstorm Sandy. It obviously caused an unprecedented amount of damage to Brick Township, as well as other shore communities. Homes were lost and neighborhoods were totally wiped away. A decade later, the recovery from the storm is still going on for many, which is very, very unfortunate. For the families who lost loved ones, the pain caused by Sandy will never go away. Similarly, families who lost their homes, some of which were in their families for generations and generations, they're never going to truly get over their sense of loss of losing everything they had. One of the largest impacts Sandy has had on the township has been the financial impact. Sandy wiped away over $400 million worth of tax rateables. And to date, 10 years later, our rateable base is still over $100 million less than it was before the storm, which is unbelievable, right? The loss in rateables, combined with the debt service we continue to pay for, the expenditures the township had to make in the aftermath of the storm, has placed an extra burden on taxpayers. The township worked closely with our county, state, and federal partners to receive reimbursements. However, there are still many costs that we're still paying today, 10 years later. We grew closer as a community for sure following Sandy. We volunteered, donated, found ways to support our neighbors whose quality of life was literally washed away. For public employees and elected officials like myself, the response to Sandy and service to those affected was, and it still is, personal. So there's family, friends, neighbors that were all overwhelmed because of that horrible storm. A decade later, we have a greater understanding of the burden that living in a coastal community brings. We have a greater respect for the dynamic and changing power of the climate. We are fortunate to call New Jersey Shore our home, but with that good fortune of being here and so close to the beach, we must also remain aware of the possibility that Mother Nature can take it all back. And therefore, we're going to continue here with our planning department, our engineering department, just to keep on planning, preparing, and do mitigation appropriately, and hope that that storm like that never hits Brick Township again. So, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Keneally, can you do me a favor? Sure. Could you give Mr. Sluka and the rest of the audience a brief, very brief overview of the process to create a new position here? Thank you.
Sure. Councilman Halloran resigned, I guess, two weeks ago? Or,
September 30th.
September 30th. The process to replace somebody is governed by the municipal vacancy law. The law says that the person who is replaced, I'll kind of jump ahead, the person who is replaced fills up at most the balance of the term of the person who resigned. However, if there is an election, a general election, that is scheduled greater than 60 days later, that person, that term then comes up on the election. So in this case, Councilman Halloran's term, I believe, ends next year, 2023. So there's not an election to fill out the balance of his term. Councilman Ambrosino will fill out the balance of his term. If it were a different term, then there would be, if there was a general election, then it would come up to elect somebody for the balance of the term. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Thank you, sir. Any comments?
No other comments?
No, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Keneally. Madam Clerk.
Yeah, hi. I would also like to congratulate Councilman Ambrosino and welcome him to the council, and I look forward to working with him.
Thank you. Madam Secretary. Thank you. Councilman Albanese.
I look forward to working with Councilman Ambrosino. a great new member to our team.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Zapsik.
Thank you, Council President. Congratulations, Councilman Ambrosino. Welcome to the party. That's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
One quick thing, on November 4th, 2022, at 11 o'clock at the VFW is the Senior Thanksgiving Feast. If you are interested, please call seniors at 732-920-866. And I also want to welcome Derrick up here. I know you'll do a great job, and I look forward to working with you. Welcome.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pontarera.
Thank you. I also want to congratulate and welcome Derrick Ambrosino to our council. I know that he will help make Brick better. I'm confident. I also wanted to thank all of the efforts, the extraordinary efforts of the Recreation Department for our trunk or treat, which occurred last Friday. What they were able to do for the children of Brick was unprecedented. I had the honor of giving out candy to the children, and it really impacted me. I got to look at each child coming through and remember that they don't get to vote on things. They don't get to have a voice in change. That it's my job on council to remember each and every one of their faces when I make decisions that impact their lives. So I thank all the parents who brought the kids to trunk or treat for sharing the children with me, because I gained valuable insight that I would not have but for that night. And it was an incredible time, and I again applaud the efforts of Joanne Bergen, Dan Santinello, Madeline Nyanvarone, and the entire team who put it together. A free, well-run event just for the kids. There's nothing better. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Ambrosino.
Thank you, Council President. I'd actually like to start by just thanking the entire council for welcoming me. I'd also like to take a moment to thank Art Halloran. I've had the pleasure of knowing Art for several years now, and I think it's necessary for us all to recognize again the commitment to serving the community that he's absolutely demonstrated. I know that I personally share that commitment as I step into his council seat. I'd also like to take a moment to thank Mayor Ducey. One of the things I've said several times, and I'll say it again, is that I truly believe that good public servants inspire good people to public service, period. And it's, in fact, the example that Mayor Ducey has displayed that is the reason that I have committed to serving our town. I'm also very excited to further the work that the Ducey team has been doing for the past 9 years. And I know that together we can keep Brick on the right track. I do look forward to working with my fellow council members, the entire administration here in town, and to everybody in the community, so that we can do just that, keep Brick on track. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Council Vice President Creek.
Thank you. I just want to welcome Councilman Ambrosino to the group. I think we're going to do great things together, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Welcome, Derrick. A pleasure. It's going to be a pleasure. We're going to have a good time. I'd like to let everybody know the next meeting is November 9th. It is not a Tuesday. It is a Wednesday because of Election Day on Tuesday. It's 7 p.m. here. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.